Ah, restless are we? I thought I heard you stirring in your bedroll. Can't sleep? The mind rarely quiets when commanded, much like an unruly spell refusing to be cast. I've had more than my share of sleepless nights, staring at the stars, wondering about the fate of the universe, or more often, contemplating whether I'd left a spellbook too close to the campfire. That did happen once, you know. It was an absolute tragedy. But tonight, you're the one who need a distraction, not me, aren't you? So I propose a solution, an old method tried and true, a bedtime story, something to guide your mind away from worry and lull you towards sleep. A tale, then, but not just any tale. Tonight I shall regale you with a story of heroism, treachery, and fate itself. The continuing tale of the Baal spawn, a legend that came before ours. Now, I don't. You object. I know full well you've already heard the start of this from our vampiric friend. And perhaps you've heard whispers of how it continues, in hushed tavern gossips or the scrolls of the learned. But please allow me to tell it properly, as only a wizard and storyteller of my considerable knowledge can. So close your eyes if you wish. Take a deep breath with me. And picture it. Feel the story unfurl like an ancient spell being cast. Our story continues in darkness. Not the comforting kind that wraps you in quiet slumber, but the cold, unyielding dark of a dungeon, deep beneath the city of Athkatla. Our hero awakens bound in chains, their head pounding from strange magics. But they are not alone. Nearby, their companions stir. Jahira, the ever-resilient druid, Minsk, the giant-hearted ranger, and, of course, Boo, his ever-faithful miniature giant space hamster sidekick. And, last but not least, Imowen, the childhood friend, quick-witted and sharp-tongued. And then, of course, there was him. John Irenicus. A name that still curdles blood, a sorcerer of unspeakable power, standing over the captured ballspawn, eyes cold as permafrost. His voice drips with disdain as he speaks. Ah, the child of Baal has awoken. It's time for more experiments. He is no ordinary mage, you see. His power is unlike anything the realms have known. And his obsession, even darker. For unknown to the Baalspawn and his associates at the moment, he intends to strip them of their divine essence, to steal it for himself. A dangerous goal indeed, but as you'll see, fate has other plans. Imprisoned, experimented upon, but heroes never stay caged for long, do they? With wit, will, and a well-timed explosion, the Baalspawn and their allies escaped into the light of Athkatla, the city of coin. But the city is no sanctuary, no, it is a battlefield of politics and power, where shadowy guilds war in the streets, and the mighty cowled wizards hold dominion over all arcane arts. The cowled wizards, yes, they're self-important regulators of magic, ever keen to slap fines upon any sorcerer bold enough to catch a spell within city limits. I have very strong opinions about them, and none of them are favourable, but I digress. No sooner do they escape, but Imowen is tricked by John Irenicus into being captured by the cowled wizards along with him, and becomes imprisoned in a fortress beyond normal mortal reaches. Spellhold. And so begins the true journey, a perilous quest through city alleys and treacherous seas into the heart of the asylum where minds are unmade. You see, this is where the tales diversify a bit, shall we say. Because there are many interesting figures that they will say the Bhaalspawn allied with, and many adventures that they say the Bhaalspawn went on, but whether they found themselves in the company of the drow priestess Viconia, or the brave halfling fighter Mazzy, or perhaps the aged paladin Keldorn, it matters not. The important thing is that they eventually raised the money to do business with, well, some say it is with the Shadow Thieves, some say it was indeed with a vampiress named Bodhi. But we'll hear more about her later. Whether or which, our hero travels to the magical asylum of Spellhold, and at the centre of all of it, Irenicus was waiting. Always waiting. Imagine it. A fortress where the magically mad are kept, their minds fraying under the weight of their own power. Spellhold is no mere prison, it is a testing ground. And the Bhaalspawn eventually reached its depths, fighting through illusions and horrors, only to come face to face with the truth. Irenicus, of course, wanted them to come. He had orchestrated everything like a puppeteer playing his final act, and then he took their soul. Because that is what it means to be a Bhaalspawn. Not just any mortal, a child of the dead god of murder, carrying a sliver of his divine essence with them. And Irenicus, genius, monster, thief, wants that power for himself. Not just the power, there was other reasons as well, but we will come to that. With a ritual as ancient as the gods themselves, he strips them of it, leaving them hollow, barely alive. And there it is revealed that the same has been done to Imowen. For Imowen is not just our hero's childhood friend. No, she is their sister. Well, half-sister, at least. Who also contained a sliver of that divine essence, which has been taken out and given to Irenicus' sister, the vampiress Bodhi. I told you we'd come to that. But reunited with Imowen, our hero remembers that there is one thing stronger than stolen divinity, and that is determination. And even without their souls, they fight on and chase Irenicus through the very depths of the Underdark, through the drow city of Usnatha, and eventually, finally, to the grand elven city of Suldanesala, where Irenicus' story indeed began and where it shall end. You see, Irenicus and his sister Bodhi were once two of the most beautiful elves of that sacred city. But they tried a crime most incomprehensible: to strip the life force from the sacred tree of Suldanesar itself. And for this crime was not just banished by his old lover, Queen Elisane, but was stripped of his soul, and his sister too. And so, atop the highest spire of Suldanesar, Irenicus stands, his hands pouring out the power of the tree, godhood nearly within his grasp, but the Bhaalspawn, our hero, will not let him take it. The battle is one for the ages, my dear. Arcane fury clashing with divine wrath, and when Irenicus is finally struck down, when his stolen power shatters, his soul is dragged to the abyss, to suffer eternally for his crimes. But the Bhaalspawn's tale did not end there, no. Soon they were to be faced with a choice to shape the very foundation of what they are, to embrace their divine inheritance and claim their father's throne, or to forsake it. And if they do indeed claim that power, will they be a force for good or ill? But let's save that part of the legend for another night, shall we, my dear? And so ends our tale. A story of power and sacrifice, of fate and defiance. Perhaps a tale not so different from the one we are writing as we speak. Though I hope our journey ends with fewer stolen souls and megalomaniacal wizards. You can stop looking at me like that. I can see your eyelids are going heavy, though. Good. This was, after all, the intended effect. Sleep now. Rest, my darling. I shall keep watch, and in the morning we'll continue our own adventure. Good night, and may your dreams be free of dark sorcerers and meddlesome gods. Good evening, darling. I hope you enjoyed this romantic audio experience. Please don't forget to like, comment, share the video, and, of course, subscribe to the channel. If you want to hear more of this sort of material, please consider joining my Patreon community, where you'll have early access to future releases and exclusive content. To discover everything I do, visit goodeveningdarling.com.